take a deep breath now and follow the sound of the bell inward.
Pray with me now, as I know my wholeness and let my words speak for you. I am divine. I am wondrously made in form and function. I am a unique expression of the divine, made in the image and likeness, which I call God, endowed with power, intelligence, substance, and process. I give thanks for this cool, refreshing morning and that beautiful rain we experienced here in Redding yesterday. It was so lovely to wake up and smell freshness in the air. I give thanks. I give thanks for the stars in the sky at night. I give thanks for the clouds, beautiful shapes against the blue backdrop in the morning. I give thanks for all the creatures that fly and all the creatures that swim. And I give thanks for each one of us here today, experiencing the presence within us, among us, and always for us. We gather today to sink deeper into that presence and communion with the presence that guides, directs, and guards us always. So as we sit here today, in community, in faith, in love, in peace, in harmony and beauty, we listen to Reverend Diana's inspired words about Jesus, man or cosmic Christ. And I know each one of us today will hear something, whether it's in this service or amongst our communication with one another today. We will find that little something that we need to navigate our spiritual journey, to unfold the graces, the beauty, and the joy that's always before us. We open our eyes, we see it. We open our ears, we hear it. We feel it and touch it with our senses. So, honoring the wholeness in each one of us, honoring the divinity in each one of us, I give thanks and watch the miracles unfold moment by moment. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Chris. Such a beautiful prayer to create such a peaceful space for our Taizé this morning. So I welcome you if you're new with us today. I'm Reverend Diana Johnson. I'm pastor and spiritual director here at Mystic Heart. We're an independent interfaith community, and we teach universal principles and practical spirituality. We open our doors and welcome. And we trust that you will be led to your own guidance, to your own wisdom, that which dwells in your own mystic heart. So we're going to begin our prayer service, our Taizé this morning, with some musical prayer. And I say thank you to Gary and to Dalton for joining us this morning. We take a moment now to move into the stillness of this moment. Allowing our attention to rest on the breath as a place to bring focus. Letting everything else go. And feeling a deep sense of gratitude for this moment, for this breath. For the privilege of being alive. Of sound mind and healthy body. Of coming together with spiritual family in prayer and meditation, in joy and celebration. And now allowing awareness to gently move away from the breath, grounding even more deeply in the beating of the heart. Feeling the presence of spirit, breathing its life into being. And acknowledging our oneness with the global community. Together we envision a web of consciousness that surrounds and infuses the planet. Sensing each of us as a radiant point of light in that web. Knowing that all beings carry the divine spark. Every human, every creature of every kind. All of the plants, every rock and grain of sand, every drop of water, infused with and enlivened by God's radiant light. And with the inner eye expanding still further outward to include the wind, the clouds, the stars, the heavenly bodies. All is one light, one life. And so we acknowledge our connection with all of that, all of life. Our collective work here is empowered by our acknowledging and celebrating that connection. Our prayer and meditation as we come into community leave an imprint of peace and compassion. Leave an imprint of grace on the whole for all time. By means of each one of us, transformation is underway. Love is being revealed by means of this time that we share together today. This month our contemplations are centered in touching the living Christ. And this morning we share in reflection around one of the world's great spiritual masters as we ask, Jesus, man or cosmic Christ? We take in just a bit of what Bible scholars agree on at this time. Jesus was a real person, born in Nazareth into a practicing Jewish family. He lived most of his life in the cosmopolitan city of Galilee, along the Silk Road, where he likely studied and taught. It is believed that he was well educated, spoke a number of languages, could read and write, and was quick-witted. He had a particular capacity for soaking up spiritual teachings and was likely exposed to different beliefs and practices during his teens and young adulthood. What else? It is believed that he was a spiritual master, a master teacher, a wisdom teacher, a peaceful revolutionary, one who more than 2,000 years ago showed humanity another way to live, who demonstrated the next phase of human evolution, a phase we have yet to master in our own time. And so, yes, Jesus was a man, an extraordinary human being, who seemingly arrived here with gifts to share, gifts of the Spirit, with a purpose for his life. One who served as an example of unconditional love, absolute inclusivity, radical compassion, deep faith, and spiritual authority. And his message? At least one of them was, "These things and greater shall you do." And what of Jesus as cosmic Christ? One view of cosmic Christ is that it can be seen as an archetype that represents the timeless and universal aspect of Jesus. His life and teachings, his death and resurrection. Cosmic Christ represents the divine Logos, the Word that existed before time and space and that pervades the entire cosmos. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. We might say that the cosmic Christ is the divine nature demonstrated through the life of the man called Jesus, and that all who have followed in his footsteps, all who have consciously accepted his challenge of transforming human consciousness for the purpose of creating heaven on earth, and are doing that work in service to the whole, are one with or part of the cosmic Christ. And so let us say yes. Jesus, man, and cosmic Christ. We take a few moments now to take in each of these well-known verses, to move into silence, listening for what each one might have to offer us in this moment. Love your neighbor as yourself. Where does this powerful teaching most directly touch your life at this particular time? On one level, it speaks to the fact that there must be self-love first. But as we go deeper into this teaching, it is an invitation to love your neighbor as an extension of yourself. Love your neighbor as an extension of yourself. Because we are all expressions of one life. Taking a few more seconds of silence, listening for what is offered. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, because they too are your neighbors. I in you, and you in me. We in God, and God in all. A radical, even heretical teaching in his time and culture. Moving again into silence. Listening. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and it is at hand. This teaching suggests that heaven is not a place that we go if we're good in this lifetime. It is a state of consciousness, a way of perceiving the world. Jesus was teaching that heaven is not something we die into. It is something we awaken into. And finally, my kingdom is not of this world. True joy and contentment do not come from the external world, from the things we have, the roles we fill, or even the people we share our lives with. They can only be found in our conscious connection with the one power back of all that is, in our personal relationship with Creator.
The Gospel of John quotes the first century Rabbi Yeshua of Nazareth saying, "I am the light of the world." In Matthew's Gospel he says, "Ye are the light of the world." Even later in John he says, "Amen, amen, I say to you, that whoever believes in me, these works that I do, they will do also, and more than these they will do." In the Gospel of Thomas, he says, "The kingdom is inside you and it is outside you. When you come to know yourself, then you will be known, and you will know that you are the child of the living Father." The Father within Yeshua that performed seeming miracles through him lives within each of us. Rabbi Yeshua taught that he was not the great exception, the only child of God, but his life served as the great example of what a fully human, fully divine life can be. The Spirit he called the Father dwells within each of us, ready, willing, and able to impart wisdom, peace, poise, and power. As we read his story in the Christian scriptures, he shows us how to access the Spirit within through prayer, meditation, sacred study, worship, and community. Yeshua lived, served, ate, drank, celebrated, and healed in beloved community with his followers. He lived his teaching. You are the light of the world. The cosmic Christ within you is that part of you that was never born, can never die, and has been and will always be a perfect expression of Spirit. In our shared 3 minutes of silent meditation, I invite you to contemplate your highest self, the Christ consciousness, the Father within, the Atman, however you conceive it. Ask it to reveal itself to you. Ask for guidance, for help, for whatever you need. Then listen deeply for the still small voice within your heart. Holy Spirit of God that dwells within me and within each of these blessed souls in our beloved community, thank you for the powerful teaching of the man Yeshua, for his demonstrating for us how to access your divine gifts and how to use them for the highest good of all. May we never forget who and whose we are. The God that dwells within you and as you, and the Most High God, is the same God. There can be no other. We are all filled with the Holy Spirit, as were the disciples of old. And through devoted spiritual practice, we can become more available to fully receive and use those divine gifts and live from our highest self. As Reverend Diana continues her Taizé meditation this morning, we allow her inspired wisdom to illuminate our true self and remind us that we are, like Jesus, fully human and fully the cosmic Christ.
And so it seems that Jesus was not simply teaching proverbs for daily living or ways of being virtuous. According to spiritual teacher Cynthia Bourgeault, he was proposing a total meltdown and recasting of human consciousness, bursting through the tiny acorn of selfhood that we arrived on the planet with, into the oak tree of our fully realized personhood. She suggests that with his teaching, he pushes us towards it, teases us, taunts us, encourages us, and ultimately walks us home. If we read deeply into the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, we sense a depth that his Jewish tradition had not previously offered. His invitation was and is to do the work, to shift our own consciousness, to put on the mind of Christ. It is not only calling us to right belief or right faith, but to right practice. Even in our own time, his message challenges us to join him in living from our divinity, to live as if we too are one with the cosmic Christ. Let's close in prayer. This morning I'm sharing a contemporary interpretation of the Lord's Prayer by Aramaic scholar Neil Douglas Klotz. O birther, Father, Mother of the cosmos, you create all that moves in light. Focus your light within us. Make it useful. As the rays of a beacon show the way. Create your reign of unity now, through our fiery hearts and willing hands. Your one desire then acts with ours, as in all light, so in all forms. Grant what we need each day in bread and insight, subsistence for the call of growing life. Loose the cords of mistakes binding us, as we release the strands we hold of others' guilt. Don't let us enter forgetfulness, but free us from unripeness. From you is born all ruling will, the power and the life to do, the song that beautifies all. From age to age it renews. Truly, power to these statements. May they be the source from which all my actions grow. Sealed in trust and faith. Amen. I invite you now into musical meditation.
Christ in me, sees the Christ in you. Everyone's a chosen one, many and few. All together now, it takes two. Christ in me and Christ in you. To know now, it takes two. Christ in me and Christ in you. If my friend feels sad and broken, every time that my heart opens, love makes its way into the world. Well, the Christ in me sees the Christ in you. 'Cause everyone's a chosen one, many and few. All together now, it takes two. Christ in me and Christ in you. 'Cause I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. Well, the Christ in me sings the Christ in you. 'Cause everyone's a chosen one, the many and the few. All together now, it takes two. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. Christ in me and the Christ in you. Christ in me and the Christ in you.
So, thank you for being here this week. Loving the presence. We have an opportunity now, just going to do this from right here, to allow you to participate in celebration through gracious giving, should you choose to share of your financial abundance with our community this morning. During our offering time, we have a new song we've worked up. It's by, I'm not sure if Carl Anthony wrote it by himself, but he's the one that recorded it. And it reminds me very much of another teaching of the Master Jesus. Turn the other cheek. And so we hope you enjoy the song, Walk Away.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. Which battle leads to the end of war? Our humanity can stop this fight. Now walk away, walk away. Walk away. I won't be fighting today. Walk away. I won't be fighting today. Walk away. Walk away. I won't be fighting today. Walk away. I won't be fighting today. Walk away. We are the ones we've been waiting for. I won't be fighting today. Which battle leads to the end? I won't be fighting today. Walk away. We are the ones we've been waiting for. I won't be fighting today. Which battle leads to the end? I won't be fighting today. Walk away.
I see children dancing all around the world. We are celebrating peace. Walk away. I see children dancing all around the world. We are celebrating peace. Walk away.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. Which battle leads to the end of war? Our humanity can stop this fight.
I see children dancing all around the world. We are celebrating peace. Walk away. I see children dancing all around the world. We are celebrating peace. Walk away. I see children dancing all around the world. We are celebrating peace. Walk away. I see children dancing all around the world. We are celebrating peace. Walk away. Walk away.
I won't be fighting today. Walk away. I won't be fighting today. Walk away. Walk away. I won't be fighting today. Walk away. I won't be fighting today. Walk away.
So we say thank you for these gifts as they're given today from the hands of Spirit, but through your hands and through your hearts, and into this community where we expand them and grow them and use them to serve in the world. And so it is. Thank you. All right. Well, we leave you with a soul's blessing, inviting you to get something warm to drink if you'd like to come back and share in our conscious conversation today, or to go on with your day and have a blessed Sunday. So here we go, blessing you on your way.
May your soul always find what it's looking for. May your heart always lead the way. May you live in peace and harmony, and may love
Good morning. Welcome back, and if you're new, welcome anyway. And it's a joyful place to be here this morning, and I am grateful to be among all of you. And as we know our divinity, we do know our wholeness, and we are blessed. And our wholeness expands and our consciousness expands as we are in community with one another and then share our own wisdom for the different for the conversation that we're going to have today around Jesus, man, or cosmic Christ. And I believe they're one as we are one. And so today we listen, we share, we learn, and we love. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you.
Ashe aho.
There we go.
Amen.
Cover them all.
I want to keep saying this so don't forget them.
That's right.
There is truth to repetition.
Yes, absolutely.
Welcome back, everybody. It's so good to see you, Barbara. It's been a couple weeks. Been a couple weeks since I've seen you.
Yeah, I've had my kids there.
Yes. Well, I'm glad that they were here, but I'm glad that you're back.
Me too.
So if you're new online with us this morning, my name is Reverend Diana Johnson. I'm pastor and spiritual director for Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We're an independent interfaith community that teaches universal principles, practical spirituality. And we know that somewhere in all that we offer, you may be able to find your way into your own heart where all of your answers lie. That's all we're here to do, is for one another, is to serve as reflection and pointer. So thanks for being here this morning. We're going to begin with our upbeat musical prayer. So we invite you to join in, sing, dance, or do whatever feels good. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Joyful sound, here we stand on the
take a creative journey now together into that imaginal realm and pull in all of the powers of inner vision, the power of presence as it moves through our bodies. Get the body engaged in whatever way makes you really able to see and feel the presence of a love-soaked world. See and feel with me now a world in which all beings live from their very highest potential. All human beings walking in kindness and generosity, in love and in peace, acknowledging one another as the beautiful creatures that we are. In a world such as this, we honor all creatures, all life forms that share this beautiful planet with us, and we honor the planet herself as the living mother. We remember that we're connected to all of life, that we're dependent on the planet. Every being remembers that we're dependent on one another, that we are interconnected. There is no separation. And as we walk the earth, we align every thought, word, and action with this vision. And as we do that, we're creating a world where all people are well fed. All people have the safety and comfort of home and a deep sense of purpose and belonging. This is a world in which health and education and healthy relationships are so well supported by social systems that are grounded in integrity and wholeness and compassion. This is a world in which every being is valued for its uniqueness. We practice living truly authentic lives where vulnerability is not only welcomed, but it is celebrated. There's no need to defend or protect from anything or anyone. And the work that we're doing within ourselves shows up as a world free of hatred and free of violence. We recognize and appreciate the abundance that surrounds us and showers down upon us every day. Greed has become a thing of the past. Generosity is the norm. All beings gratefully receive all that is needed to live a physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually fulfilling life. The planet and its beings thrive like never before. As we recognize the sacred in everyone and in everything, we walk in reverence, we walk in humility and gratitude for all that we've been given. We call it all blessing. We're creating a new world moment by moment, aligning our actions with our vision. Living these changes first in our own lives, with our families, our friends, and our neighbors. And as we do so, one neighborhood, one community at a time, a new world is being born. In this process of profound change, this beloved community stands as an open and welcoming place for all who seek support, belonging, and a sense of family. By the power of our deep faith and inspired action, this prayer is acted upon right here and right now, even as it is spoken. For Spirit knows the heart's deepest desire and intent. And so, in full expectation of its graceful unfolding, and with the deepest humility and gratitude, we release this prayer to the creative power and intelligence that I call God. We release this prayer to the one that gets it done. And so it is done. Amen. So much beauty, so much light in our world. Our theme this month is Touching the Living Christ. It's really funny, when I printed out my thing from my book today, I often leave the T off just because I'm typing so fast. And so it says Touching the Living Chris. Which is, we have a few of those in our community. And so I thought that was really kind of funny. And it you know, Jesus, man, or Cosmic Chris? You know? Cosmic Chris, yes. Says so right here.
I can't wait to tell Dave.
You can't. Y'all go home and tell your family now I'm Cosmic Chris.
That's right.
So good to hear the laughter, the joy. So this morning during Taizé, we spent time reflecting on what scholars believe about Jesus the man and what might be meant by the phrase fully man, fully divine, and ended with a modern interpretation of the Lord's Prayer that is written at length about and offered by a gentleman named Neil Douglas. I always want to say Neil Donald. It's not. Neil Douglas Klotz. He is one of the leading Aramaic scholars in the world at this time. And so I want to focus our conversation this morning on that same prayer, not necessarily his version of it, but on the version that we might be more familiar with. And then I'm going to end with another contemporary version from another gentleman. So I just want to start by asking how many people in the room are familiar with the Lord's Prayer? Okay.
When you're Catholic, you get your teeth cut on that.
All right, cut your teeth on the Lord's Prayer. So it shows up twice in the Christian Bible in slightly different forms, one in the book of Matthew and then in the book of Luke. So what's the first line of the prayer?
Our Father, who art in heaven.
Our Father, who art in heaven. Then, what's next? Let's see how much we know.
Hallowed be thy
Hallowed
name.
be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, for thine is the evil, for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Wow. That was powerful, actually. David?
I'm curious, what kind of bread was that?
Soda bread.
Soda bread.
bread, yeah.
So how is it that in a place such as this, where people from all traditions come together, people of all belief systems share their paths with one another, who some continue in their journey of Christianity, but I would say in our community the majority do not. How is it that we all know this prayer from start to finish?
Because we were taught by our parents and the
Okay.
church we went to as children.
All right, we were taught by parents, the churches we went to as children.
It kind of resonates.
It resonates.
It just, it covers so much.
It
Yeah.
covers so much, yes.
So it has that universality to it.
Okay, so it has a very universal feel about it. Why do you think it has that feel for us, whether or not we are practicing Christians?
Because if you really apply that in your life, forgiveness and love,
Right?
and that the divine is within, because that's what it says, that heaven is already here, then we can be happy and we can walk our talk.
Okay. Because what it actually teaches is, it's a pretty strong message and a powerful way to live, should we choose to actually adopt it. Chris?
That prayer has also been stewing for 2,000 years in the collective
Yeah.
unconscious.
Oh, yes.
Just like it's like the soup we were born into, we've been marinated
Right.
in that prayer.
So, prayer over time, with repetition, with feeling, it becomes a powerful force in the race mind.
Absolutely.
And that prayer is a force for good in the race mind. Now, the fact that some of us were, not myself included, but some people have been damaged by their Christian walk and are now learning to retranslate and re-navigate and all those things, doesn't change the fact that a prayer, a Christian one or any other powerful prayer from a sacred teaching that is repeated millions or maybe billions of time times by millions or billions of people is going to carry some power.
Absolutely.
So it holds a great power in race consciousness. So let's go through the words, because first let me ask, is there anybody in the room that's feeling really, really uncomfortable with the topic today? I want to just check that. Okay, we're good. Okay,
No guarantees.
I know, no guarantees, but I just wanted to do a spot check.
You don't have to fake it.
So let's start at the beginning. Why do you suppose that the prayer comes to us with the beginning line, Our Father? Yes.
Well, that's, well, that wasn't the start I remember, but I thought it was Lord who art in heaven, which I'm confused, art or are in heaven? Or?
Art is just a form of R,
Okay.
yeah, from King James language. And it's Our Father who art in heaven
Oh, yeah.
in the King James. So it starts with Our Father. Why do you think it comes that way?
God is in the beginning, always been Father, the one, the only.
Okay,
God is the power.
all right. Is God the Father, is it the Father in every tradition?
Nah.
No.
No, okay. But in the Christian tradition, coming from the Jewish tradition, it
Yeah.
was labeled Father,
Uh-huh.
okay? Chris?
The word "are" kind of evokes a sense of immediate community and togetherness.
Okay.
Just from the very get-go.
All right, so the word "are" evokes a sense of community and togetherness for you. Good. Sherry?
I think it's describing also the relationship.
Okay,
From, humans would understand that most of the time,
uh-huh,
that your father is loving and protective and, all those
Hopefully.
things
Right.
that they're trying to describe that relationship.
hopefully that was your experience.
Right.
Otherwise, you might
Yeah.
have a
Different.
traumatic reaction
Had a good grandpa.
to the use of the father as that figure, which is something to, to look at. David, and then Chris, and then Chris.
Well, the one thing I noticed there was Our Father who are in heaven kind of makes a separation right
Okay.
there between us and Him.
Okay,
Which is something I never
yeah,
quite
okay, and I'll come back to that in a moment, but let me get these first and then.
When I hear that, I think of our source.
Okay, our
Father
source.
being the source of our being and
Okay.
honoring that source of being in communication.
Okay, so it takes you to our source. Chris?
Yeah, I think our parent would be that too, but he grew up in a patriarchal society, and
Right,
the Father within was his nickname, if you will, for the indwelling spirit.
okay,
And so I think what he's saying, Our Father, means it's not just me.
Right. All of
We're
our
all,
Father.
we all have the Father
so
within us.
who was speaking this prayer? Okay, so this was Jesus speaking, and he was raised in that patriarchal, but the word that he used in the Aramaic was something we would translate as closer to Papa.
Oh, I like that. That gave me chills.
So it would be a word that would be a very personal
Yes.
and inviting and loving and warm parent. And he did understand in his teachings that God actually isn't a man. I mean,
Yeah.
that wasn't, so he had that understanding built in. So then we go to the art in heaven, our Father who or which art in heaven. Where did Jesus teach heaven? What was the kingdom of heaven?
Inside of us.
Okay, it was inside of us and
All around us.
and all around us.
So God's everywhere.
So the kingdom of heaven, and is it a place that we go according to his teaching?
Well, he
No.
did say that we would go to heaven, to the person on the cross. Today you'll be in paradise with me.
Right.
As he believed. So is paradise and heaven the same place?
Is it? And did he actually mean going to a place when he said that? Or did he mean changing state of consciousness?
I like that better.
Me too, yeah, mine and.
I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, maybe we can go beyond this literal picture that we have into a more metaphysical, symbolic, cosmic interpretation of this prayer too.
Yeah, my sense of heaven is, well, we're told in metaphysics that it's heaven and hell are states of consciousness.
Right.
But
Yes, they
I think
are.
of it more as the invisible spirit realm.
Okay.
It's non-physical, there's no matter, no energy, it's just pure consciousness or pure spirit. And so heaven for me is just a code word for the invisible side of life.
Okay, so yet another way to interpret that. So can you see that this prayer can mean many things to many people? It means something different to every one of us. And it can and is, as we develop spiritually, it transforms within us. Its meaning transforms as we transform. That's true for anything that we are taking in through our senses.
So it's almost like it's alive because it's ever
Right.
changing, but it stays the same
Yeah.
because it stays the same because it's always the present moment.
Yes. So sacred scripture is alive. It's a living, almost breathing organism, and it transforms as we transform. So our experience of the divine comes into our awareness as we practice giving our attention to the sacredness of life and to all who share the life with us. So how about let's move to hallowed be thy name. What does this mean to you?
I believe that God is all possibilities and that his name is hallowed because he's the first thought or God.
Okay, what's
Or point
hallowed
zero.
mean?
Holy.
Holy, okay. Sacred, holy. Okay. Blessed.
That's what holy means? Is that what you're saying? It's
Hallowed,
like blessed?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
blessed, yeah, sacred.
So whole is our nature.
Whole is our nature.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh,
Holy
ooh, I like that too.
Comes from the same root as whole,
Yes.
okay?
All whole with as God.
Right.
See, I was given different things growing up.
Yes, oh yes, we all learn different things growing up. So there's a gentleman named Frank Waters. He's a gifted Native American teacher of spiritual wisdom. And he asks the question, do you believe things are holy or sacred in and of themselves, or are they made sacred by giving our focused attention to them?
Both.
Okay? Yes and yes? Anyone else have a thought about that?
Well, if we think of God as the creator, then if God is holy, then all of God's creation must be holy because God creates by becoming the creation.
Becoming the creation.
Just like the saying, like, I am whole and complete. I
Yes.
am perfect, whole, and complete. We are all perfect, whole, and complete, just as we are. We are
Right.
enough. We are enough just as we are.
We are enough just as we are, and if we can't quite stomach I'm perfect, because a lot of times we can't quite stomach that because we don't feel perfect,
Sure.
we can
sure.
extend that to I'm perfectly imperfect,
Yes, yes.
right?
Yes.
We can hold both.
Sure.
Spiritually perfect, humanly, of course, we all have
Yes, and that's what
work
I
to
was
do.
reading about. Yeah.
Cheryl?
God created all perfect. There's nothing imperfect that God created.
Yeah,
Yep.
nothing imperfect God created. What was that? We used to have a sign on my bedroom wall that said, God didn't make no mistakes.
That's right.
When I was a kid. Yes.
I
And then
like-
David.
I like the notion whole in form and function because that leaves room for the humanity or
Yeah.
the individual
Yes.
creation and how they are in the world. So
Okay.
it's that.
So whole in form and function. That leaves
And that leaves me, you don't have
space.
to worry about perfect.
Right. There you go. Get rid of that perfection word altogether. So another spiritual teacher, Wayne Muller, offers another perspective. He says, we honor the holiness in things by shifting our attention from the relentless seductions of obligations and detail and consent to be surprised by the holiness anywhere and everywhere. When we pray, hallowed be thy name, we always come as beginners. So the Zen Buddhist teacher Suzuki Roshi called a beginner's mind. And he said, in the beginner's mind there are many possibilities, in the expert's mind there are few.
Absolutely.
So the less you know,
I know nothing.
no nothing. David.
So is that how we got holy cow?
Holy cow! Holy moly!
That might have been Hindu.
It might have been Hindu. Yes. How might we interpret thy kingdom come? This is really good for you. I can see it.
Oh, yeah, no,
I
yes.
can
it is-
see the
it
release
is.
happening like
I was
right
gonna say,
now.
yeah, it's very,
Yeah.
very good for me for
Beautiful.
so many ways. Thank
Thy
you.
kingdom come.
That means as our awareness grows, we realize that, wow, we're here.
Oh, we're
in
here.
heaven,
We're
aren't
in heaven.
Yeah.
We have arrived and didn't even know it.
So it's not coming.
It's here.
We're
Yeah.
opening up to it.
Right.
Okay? From your
Accept-
perspective.
Accepting it.
Accepting it.
There's also the aspect of it, like when we do the Love Soap World visioning every Sunday. That's like, bring it.
Yeah.
Let's realize the kingdom of heaven,
Right.
where everybody's
Let's
loved,
realize it.
everybody's taken care of,
Let's make it real.
everything's sacred.
Yes.
By speaking it in existence.
Speaking it into existence and then following that up with action.
Absolutely.
Because if we don't all take action, then it doesn't go anywhere, right? So the kingdom of heaven's already here within us, all around us. So that brings me back to just our awareness of it, of what's already here. Yes.
I think enlightenment to me is being awake
Okay.
and being the observer and knowing that you have choices.
Yes. Good. Yeah, we said in Taizé that it's not, heaven is not something that we die into, it's something we awaken into. And that was a quote from Cynthia Bourgeau as well. I thought, well, that's, feels really good to me to think of it that way.
I think in prayer, in that beginning of the prayer, it's also reminding ourselves of the opening up
Yes.
and asking for that which is holy and sacred and to permeate us in that
Yes.
in that moment.
Yeah. Make me aware. Make me aware of the presence that's already there. Bring it. I love bring it. Bring it along. So thy kingdom come, thy will be done. What's that do for you? What's that mean for you?
There's been a lot of discussion about exactly what God's will might be, but I think for me, it's God's will is what, I don't know, the generic evolutionary force, if you will. It's to be life-giving, life-supporting, and expanding in consciousness and complexity and
Okay.
and love and compassion.
All right. Nice, thank you.
In Neil Donald's book, What God Wants,
Mm-hmm.
you read the whole book, and then when you come to the chapter, What God Wants, you open it up, and the pages are empty. God wants
Yeah.
you to make known the unknown and to create your,
Right.
your life, because through each one of us, God experiences everything we
Right.
experience, and that's why we're here,
Yep.
so that God can experience all the infinite possibilities.
All the infinite possibilities of what it means to be human
Right.
by means of each of us. as maybe it's also expressing what it is to be a dog
Right.
or a horse
God's,
or a
God's in
star.
him just like he's in
Right.
us, trees, everything.
Yeah.
God is everywhere.
The love essence.
The love essence. Ooh, I like that.
Maybe it means thy will be done is to knowing what is mine to do and be in each moment.
Knowing what is mine to do and to be in each moment. So make me aware of the highest will by means of this body, by means of this life. David?
So does that mean when a dog bites you, it's a God bite?
I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah.
If everything is an
Call it a
expression of
love
spirit, right?
Yep.
Might be karma.
Might be karma, right?
Karma bites.
Karma
Dog
bites.
bites.
Oh, bumper sticker. Karma bites.
I think there's a definite surrendering,
Okay.
and surrendering, not having another thing outside of ourselves
Mhm.
will something, but surrendering to that alignment with that goodness, that essence, and leaving behind what we think we might want
Right.
as far as even just, the human stuff, like, new cars and stuff. And just really, let's let that go as we're entering this prayer, and know that there's a higher will and higher wisdom that is what we are, that we welcome and surrender to in this moment.
Nice. So there's a sense of real surrender around this line, thy will be done. And you know that this translation that we all knew so well is not actually the most closely, what am I trying to say? It's not the best translation in terms of from the Aramaic to English translation. We've learned a version that's very different than what they now believe it says. So, thy kingdom has come.
Wow, that makes a big
Thy
difference.
will is forever being done.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a little different.
Ooh, I like it though.
Yeah.
It gives it power.
It
The
does.
other one kind of keeps you
chills on my
helpless.
Yeah. Would you just
You know.
say that again? Yes. Thy kingdom has already come. Thy will is forever being done.
It's affirmative rather
It's
than
affirmative.
petitionary.
This is seen as one of the very powerful affirmative prayers that Jesus used in the stories in the Bible to teach about prayer, about how to pray affirmatively, how to know what is already true.
Kind of like manifestation almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything's already
That's
holy.
right. Yes. Yes.
Everything's already holy. Heaven is already here within us and all around us.
We just have to believe it and bring it into ourselves and
Yes.
be open to that.
So placing
Be
our
there.
faith, going back a couple weeks, and where do we place our faith?
Yes.
Okay, so placing our faith in it's already here. Open my eyes, open my ears.
I just told my husband that yesterday. I said, we're not in debt. We already have everything that we already have, and we're just working toward that more.
Right. Yes.
It's a better way of seeing it, better way of looking at it.
So how about lead me not into temptation?
I think temptation would mean that you've, like we have a target and we're off target because we get sidetracked into believing we're not what we are, that we're not all divine.
Okay.
So that is what sin is,
Mm-hmm.
turning away from
Missing
what
the
is,
mark,
that
yeah.
is really real. Because the
Okay.
only thing that is real is that we're all divine.
Okay, so the temptation is the belief in separation or
Right.
the belief that I'm not a divine human.
Right.
Okay, and I'm gonna go to Lucinda because she hasn't spoken yet today.
Well, that also reminds me of keep me away from doubt.
Okay, keep me away from doubt.
Because there's something, I have faith that this is gonna happen, but, and then next thing you know, I'm in fear.
Okay.
because I've convinced myself it might not. But true faith,
Mhm.
it will, so.
So keep me away, keep the doubt away, keep the fear away.
Right.
Michael?
Let me not be distracted by all of this
Oh.
stuff in this outside world.
All the shinies.
What?
All the shinies.
All the
Don't let me
toys.
be distracted by all the shinies. Cheryl.
Erasing the negative thought that come.
Okay, erasing,
Continue erasing them.
erasing continuously
Well-
the negativity or the negative thoughts that come.
Let me not fall asleep.
Let me not
Amen.
fall asleep.
Or back
I've
asleep.
heard that one before.
Yeah, I have too. Yes. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Serious.
Well, negativity is relative when it comes to if everything is created by God, then things that we see as negative then is not automatically bad. Or
Right.
wrong.
It's all our perception, isn't it?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I see as negative might not be what you see as negative.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
Sister, so that comes back to lead me not into judgment.
So lead me not into judgment.
There you go.
Was your hand up? No, okay.
Yeah.
Not yet.
The way I interpret that line is, when I know what's right,
Mhm.
but I want to do something else anyway.
Uh-huh.
I know I'm supposed to get up and meditate, but I want to sleep in, or,
All kinds of
those kind of things. That's a temptation, is
Mhm.
to not do what I know is mine to do.
Right. Okay, so lead me not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. There's that word.
I think evil, the only thing that is evil is our perception, number one.
Okay.
And evil would be to turn away from God or think us less than what we are because we were taught that and we accept that.
Mhm.
That is evil, to say, you're not God, you're less than, you're dirt, you were born in sin. That's a really big drop from being divine and not.
Yeah.
So that's the sin right there.
Original
That I
sin
think
versus
that's
original blessing.
Right.
Original
Yeah.
goodness, right?
So you're saying the sin
Yeah.
is to say that we're not divine?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
because it's a falsehood, even
Yes,
though
exactly.
Deliver us from
God,
evil.
yes.
How do you translate evil, that word evil in that for yourself?
Well, for me, it's anything that's life-denying or
Okay.
I don't know, lacking compassion,
Anything lacking in compassion or life-denying,
love-denying.
or Cheryl?
Thoughts that are not true.
Thoughts that are not true, that invade, seem to invade.
well, either you're in love or fear.
Okay.
So when you see somebody that's violent or doing all the things, they're not definitely coming. They're coming from
Right.
fear. They're not coming from love.
Okay.
And they don't, sometimes people don't think they have a choice because that's what everybody else is doing. So I guess it's whatever, or you're in the service and you're told to do that or whatever.
Yeah. So lead me not into fear, but please deliver me into love.
Absolutely.
So, David.
Well, a long time ago, I connected with a minister who I thought had this answer.
Good one.
And it turns out
Yeah, right.
that I asked him to make sure he kept me awake. And as he bluntly put it, that was my job, not his.
Yep.
My job, man. That's right. True. So keep my mind, my heart, and my awareness on that which is true.
Yes.
Keep me from that which does not serve the highest and best for the whole.
Yes.
For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. What's that about? Yes.
I was raised Catholic, we didn't say that.
I was
That
gonna say
wasn't-
the same.
Yeah.
That was
That-
foreign to me.
Yeah, that was
That's the Protestant version.
We have, we
Baptist,
have a
Protestant.
tremendous number of expanded Catholics in this community.
Yes, ex-Catholic, born Catholic.
Expanded Catholic. We changed it from recovering to expanded.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So what are we doing with that section though? What is that about?
Sealing it,
Sealing it up, releasing it,
and sealing
and
it up.
making it so, right?
Yes.
And giving God the credit for
Okay,
this beautiful creation,
okay.
giving him his props.
Giving Spirit credit,
Kudos.
kudos. Releasing our need for
Control.
control. That thing we think we have sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think we really ever had it.
So we are humbly submitting ourselves to all that is sacred. It's another word that we sometimes struggle with, submission.
Trusting, and that goes with trusting also.
But that's, yes, it's all about trusting. I'm not gonna go there right now, that will go in a whole nother direction.
I
I'll
have
bring
one.
that back another time.
I have one thing over here.
Yeah, yes.
By submitting, are we also actually not putting the wall between us and the goodness
Right,
that
yes,
Spirit is?
yes. By submitting yourself, you're not putting up that block,
Yeah.
that potential block or that wall between you and your good. Good insight. So, yes,
It just made me think of something. That's kind of how we lift the veil.
okay, lifting the
Lifting the
veil.
veil to see
Uh-huh,
the presence, the heaven.
yes. And when we lift that veil, when we submit, we are allowing whatever comes to come gracefully. Because we've put our resistance down, right? So is there anything else that needs, wants to be spoken about this prayer before we close with another contemporary version of this prayer? Because we have a little extra music for you today. Yes.
Submission to me is my service to the higher power, my power.
Okay.
My service, that's
Uh-huh.
my service, that's submission to me.
Okay, so when I
Allowing myself
submit
to
to
be a
Spirit, to
servant.
God,
Oh,
it's my service.
yes,
Use me.
yes.
Yeah, use me.
Does that mean how we glorify God?
That could certainly be an interpretation for glorifying God.
Honor.
Giving Spirit full use, full reign, without my resistance or interruption.
I think the whole theme of the prayer is giving up control. It's not even our prayer, it's the Lord's prayer.
Okay,
It's not like, make this happen for me, it's, this is already happening. It's,
Right.
the kingdom's already here. Or even with the King James translation, let the kingdom come, let your will be done. So it's
Yes.
all about giving up control and just letting it be how it is and happen how it happens.
That's right, yeah.
that was a perfect summation.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Beautiful. So this version that I'll close with today is from a non-dual teacher named Rupert Spira. I have a bunch of favorites right now, and he's one of them. Michael's cheering back there.
It's my fave.
So we take a moment and just maybe close our eyes or let our gaze rest. Settle in with a couple of deep breaths and bring our awareness back to center. Infinite, personal, intimate being. who is the sole reality of all that exists. Let your divine name, I, shine brightly in our hearts at all times. May we recognize our being as your being. May our lives be an outpouring of praise and thanksgiving. Expressing your peace, your joy, and your love in all that we think, feel, and do. May we see you everywhere, shining in and as the world. Grant us the remembrance of your fullness, from which our lives are derived and with which they are sustained. Forgive us those times when our actions betray the overlooking of your presence. And help us to forgive those who do not yet know that their being is your being. Keep our minds and hearts steady in the knowledge of your presence, lest the belief in separation veil the peace and love that you are. For you alone are the reality of all that exists, the one who performs all actions, and the one whom we love in every one and everything, whether we know it or not. Our only prayer, that you take us into yourself for all eternity. Amen. Let's take a moment to just let that be. Be with it and in it. Thank you for a beautiful discussion this morning, conversation. I look forward to this every week.
So do I.
I'm glad. Glad it's just not me up here having fun.
Everybody else is like,
When's this gonna be over? That's one thing I don't sense when we're all engaged, right? It's an active process. It feels really good.
It's a frequency.
Yes,
Beautiful.
it is a frequency, and we all have wisdom and insight to share.
It's a meaningful engagement rather than being preached to.
Yes,
Yes.
meaningful engagement.
It's very, fills all of our hearts. Our love tanks get filled.
It's beautiful.
I
And-
know, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I know I have not felt more accepted in a community, and this is actually kind of my first time as an adult being part of a community like this, and I'm just extremely grateful for every single one of you, you know, such kindness and love, and thank you, Diana.
You're welcome.
Yes,
I'm glad,
phenomenal.
glad you are here.
Thank you. Namaste.
So, we're going to take a moment to allow time for you to offer of your financial good today, should you choose to do that. If you are online, you can go to our website, which is mysticheart.org, and we have a donate button there. We also have a mailing address. And we receive your gifts today with joy and gratitude, for sure. We are going to play a couple of songs for you today because we can, because we haven't all four been together for a while, and we enjoy playing our music together. And so we're going to enjoy Mr. Gary French as he leads the vocals in both of these songs.
We'll move past Nebraska and we'll drop there on these cold prairie hills. Angels dance on Jacob's stairs. Yeah, they danced on Jacob's stairs. There is the silence in the badlands, and over Kansas the whole universe was still. Whisper of a prayer, whisper of a prayer, and a single heart burst into flight in the east. The whole horizon is in flame. I feel the thunder in the sky, see the sky about to rain. And I hear the prairie calling out your name. I can feel the earth tremble with the crumbling of the buffalo. Fury in the pheasant's wings. Yeah, there's fury in the pheasant's wings. It tells me the Lord is in his temple. There's still a faith that can make the mountains move. Love that can make the heavens ring. Yeah, I've seen love make heaven ring. Where the sacred rivers beat beneath the shadow of the keeper of the plains. I feel the thunder in the sky, see the sky about to rain, and I hear the prairies calling out your name. Oh, 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 oh. Time may never know. What time may never know. How love takes by its corners this whole world and shakes us forward and shakes us free. To run wild with the hope. Run wild with the hope. The hope that this thirst will not last long, that it will soon drown in a song not sung in vain. I feel the thunder in the sky, see the sky's about to rain, and I hear the prairies calling out your name. And I know this thirst will not last long, that it will soon drown in a song not sung in vain. I feel the thunder in the sky, see the sky about to rain, and the prairies I am calling out your name.
And this one is another brand new one from the same guy that did Walk Away. Wrap Your Arms Around the World.
1, 2, 3, 4. Love, love, love.
Nana with us. One more time.
Wrap your arms around the world. Wrap your arms around the world. Wrap your arms around the world. Wrap your arms around the world.
Thank you guys for joining us today.
Yay!
Fun music.
Bravo!
Yay, yay, yay.
I was just caught up in the music.
That's okay.
You know, I'm privileged and humbled to stand before you and accept these gifts from your hands, from God's heart, your heart, to Mystic Heart. Knowing the work we do is in service to this community and it ripples out and beyond. And a special thanks to Reverend Diana. A special thanks to our music team, our coordinating team back there, and Michael, our food team, and to all who make this possible. Amen.
Amen.
We're going to sing you out with song, and if you clear the space, it'll be available for somebody to come have prayer with me. Thank you.
All righty. And we have a delicious lunch once again next door when we're finished here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All together, hand in hand, we see the light, we take a stand, and we are changing a whole new life for you and me. Take your past and set it free, and share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, Spirit lift you, breathe it in, truth help.